Hey guys, how's it going? I'm the Duke of Italy, your favorite lo-fi music YouTuber, and today we're going to talk a little bit about Mirrored by the math rock band Battles. And that's because today we're doing another quickie, and if you don't know, a quickie is a series that I just started, and I technically started a whole long time ago. But in terms of now, it's a video where I talk about an album for a little bit of time. Now, what is Battles? Battles is a math rock band that is known for pretty much this one album, but also an album called, I believe, Glosstrop. And I've talked about this band before on my math rock chart. Now, I loved this album when I first heard it, but I didn't quite understand it because it fulfills a very different purpose from what you would normally hear in a standard math rock affair. Now, one band I really love in math rock, and most people love in math rock, is the band Hella. And it has sort of a similar purpose where you have a very well-defined instrumental piece and little to no vocals. Hella has vocals on a couple records, but it's mostly no vocals. And it just drives over and over, and it hits hard as a truck. Now, with that under my belt and that pretty much being one of my favorite math rock bands, I expected that coming with the band Battles. Now, that's just not the case because this band has a lot of subtlety, a wide set of instruments, and a whole lot of really interesting elements. All of these songs have many moving parts that sound super interesting when put together. And what kind of set me off away from this album is actually that the first several tracks, and potentially even the first half of the album, is very subtle. In fact, the first few tracks, not even very hard hitting on the drums. The snare is very subtly used, or it's just like knocking on the side of the snare. A whole lot of cymbal work, specifically the ride cymbal, a whole lot of hi-hat usage. And even though it sounds really simple, it's just a super, really energetic piece of music that's super fun to listen to. And looking at this album cover, you'd probably be like, wow, that's pretty daunting and pretty abstract. I'm expecting something hitting super hard. And you do get that, just not immediately. Now, with a band like Hella, you would expect to probably like headbang super hard on the downbeat. And you might expect that for this band too, but don't actually do that because instead of being an explosive band, instead it's really groovy. It's actually rather danceable. And I remember talking about some IDM related stuff when talking about this record. And this is totally a true comparison because you totally can just groove along to it. It's not the kind of record that you can really focus and headbang to. It's rather danceable. It's rather groovy. It's fun. And in terms of instrumentation, you've got some really cool sounding guitars that plays actually rather simple guitar lines for most of the record, but they're played in this really interesting call and response with the bass, with the drums, and with the keyboards. And the keyboards is probably my favorite part of this whole record because the tone of them is so interesting. It's different on almost every track, but it's got so much harmonic content, it's ridiculous. It's got that sort of organy type feeling where you really hear a really percussive hit when it's hit on the actual keys itself, but it's got so much harmonic content. It's so bassy, it's so lush that it's actually the best instrument to listen to on the whole record. And in terms of another instrument, vocals are used here, but they're not used to really sing a lot of words, although on like one song there are some words. It's more of just to do vowel sounds and to do oohs and ahs. It adds just another note to the very wide amount of harmonic content displayed in every second of every song here. Now, as much as I've been describing the more subtle tracks here, it does stray away from that. The track Rainbow is a monolithic 8-minute piece of crushing, brutal prog math rock that is a little bit more like your Terra Melos, your Hella, your more standard math rock bands and your more standard math rock sound, but it's still super crushing and super energetic. There are actually quite a few interlude tracks here that actually don't go for very long, and it's just a really nice way to fill up the space in the album, and it doesn't feel fillery at all. And actually, after 2 interlude tracks in a row, which sounds kind of crazy, you get the song Tidge. 2 interlude tracks sounds kind of silly until you listen to Tidge and you see exactly why you need so much of a rest period, because Tidge is basically like a Swans track, like a modern Swans track. Think of something off of like The Glowing Man or To Be Kind, with that amount of pummeling 2-note riffs that are just absolutely oppressive. And this song is actually so much energy packed into one area. Kind of gives you fight or flight response there. Kind of panic inducing. And the word of the day is rhythmic. This thing is so rhythmic, whether it's the call and response, whether it's the krautrock-esque drum loops that are so funky that it just rolls and rolls and rolls while the guitars do their tappy little riffs over the top. And also, it's a super unique record, and I hope you guys enjoy it. That's all the time I have for today, but I hope you guys enjoy this video, and I hope you guys enjoy the record. Like and subscribe. Have a good one. Bye.